Good morning, everyone. Today is March 31st, 2021. This is the StockCast, your pre-market show where your wildest dreams come true. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Getting off to a slow start, just like the pre-news market. There's not much going on.
And, well, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Really, that's why we're starting up late. Like, man, there's nothing in the pre-market. Just a couple. Pretty much the stuff I see is filings, and there's a couple little PHIO things going on, but it's nothing significant. Not worth chasing at this point.
A couple offerings, but nothing's moving hard. Nothing's moving. No 300% gappers like we traditionally like to see.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about one ticker and then open up to questions to see if anybody had any individual questions, and then we can review a couple tickers also.
Yeah, let's talk about ticker VVPR, Victor Papa Romeo. And let me share my screen. Reason why I want to talk about this one is, let me pull all this stuff down. Is we can see the run up yesterday in the charts. The reason why this happened was the research company Edison Research released their report. And basically what they said, to make a long story short, is that they evaluated this company to have a PPS value of $19. It's currently going for $10.36. It's going to cool off a little bit, but me personally, I traded this one yesterday in the run up. I kept moving my stop up, and eventually it pulled back enough to where it hit my stop, and I got out with a little bit of profit, but nothing too significant. So I'm going to wait for a re-entry in this thing and try to ride it out. I like to chase this thing up. So that paper, I'm sure you can Google it. If not, I'll try to locate it for y'all. I'm not sure if it's going to be anything paid or not, but if you do just a Google search, you should find the gist of it online. And what we do need to look for here, if you're just now trying to jump into this, is that break of the high of day. So to simplify it, I did push this alert out to my group, but you know, they have a certain range. But if you were just, you know, looking at this now or later, to keep it simple, I'd wait for the break above 1140 for entry. And again, the target price on this is $19. The FOMO traders will probably jump in, maybe push it a little higher, but nonetheless, we should probably see a decent push up anywhere. I mean, heck, I would say at least with a bad run to about 15.5 to this next resistance. But still, I feel like this is something with that report being released that this is going to turn out to be a pretty good play. And that is what I'm looking for. This is ticker VVPR.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's take a look at ADXS, Apple David X-Ray Sam.
Apple David X-Ray Sam?
Yes.
All right. Anything in particular we're looking for?
No, I came up in our TT chat box as a request to review this one.
Okay. So this one, I do have this on my watch list. 1 second. I do have this on my watch list just because of how cheap it is. And we can see that it is still pulling back here on the daily chart. At the moment, it does look like it's consolidating on this 200 EMA, but we do need to see if it's going to bounce here and come back up. There's a good chance that since this is under $1, they're going to pull something out of their backside to make this work out. these companies don't want to get delisted. It's the last thing that they want to do. If they get delisted, it's borderline bankruptcy. Like they can't get, investors, things like that. So these companies, what they'll do is they'll either pull out something significant that they have in the works and release that information, or they'll just make some fluff news, give themselves a boost in the market to get back over $1 to maintain that compliance. And then, the FOMO traders step in, push it up. And that's when they usually do like offerings and splits and things like that. So they don't end up falling off the exchanges. And this is ticker ADXS. Last update for short interest is 5.3 million shares being shorted, 4.4% of the float. Share structure, 119.4 million shares outstanding. The float, 119.4. So it does have a decent amount of shares on the market, but nothing too crazy. Looking at the news off the top, let's see. I don't see any recent catalysts in the works, but again, these companies, they always tend to find something to release to get them back in compliance. It's kind of like what we were talking about this morning, Todd, where these companies, how like everything just seems kind of like coordinated. When things get bad, surprise, they'll hit you with a PR, and it just all seems to work out for whatever reason.
Yeah, for everyone listening, we were talking about how it seems that there are only to be 2 or 3 companies that will be doing an announcement, which will make them one of 2 or one of 3 runners for the day. And the conversation was about they must coordinate this somehow, because when there's retail money chasing these, they want the FOMO, they want to push the price up to do an offering. And so there's got to be some type of coordination so there's not 12 in one day, or they always happen on Wednesdays, or et cetera, et cetera. And I was steering the conversation because I've got several bio picks. They're all waiting for news. A couple of them are waiting for end of first quarter, and today is the end of the first quarter. So I'm eagerly anticipating hearing some news and watching my ticker take off, but hasn't happened yet as of this morning.
All right. So we have one in the comments to review, ticker LYL.
Comes from the boss. He's the one who brought us CSCW. CSCW, last week.
Oh, yeah. And that thing has turned out to be a beast. All right. Ticker LYL. Last update for short interest. 484,000 shares being shorted. 7.6% of the float. Outstanding shares, 11.4%. The float, 6.3%. For the news, let's see. Don't really see anything for the news except for just some filings. But nonetheless, this bad boy has a beautiful share structure for a low float. So looking at it on the daily chart.
You know, if they're waiting for something coming down the pipe, boss, why are you asking about LYL?
So for technical setup, what I'd have to see is that actual non-EMA line cross back above that 200, and I would definitely take it there. I'd say that entry price would probably be around 240, and that's if I was going to trade it safe. But nonetheless, I mean, this thing made us run up. It's going to cool off. It's probably going to hang out below that 200 EMA for a little while here until a catalyst starts to form. And what I'd like to see before really making an entry without a clean setup is this thing going sideways on the daily chart. I'd have to see it, just kind of not really doing much in price action. Going sideways, I'd start scaling in, and this thing would probably end up being a multi-week swing trade. And if there was a significant catalyst that came through, obviously it's going to make this thing just rip out of the water. If we had anything of substance, I would say it'd probably be super easy to hit that $3 range based on how low this share structure is. Probably higher, but again, I mean, this is a financial services company.
It's based out of China.
Yeah. There's only so much of a catalyst that they can give us. But I do like these small outstanding, these small share structures. That's what I look for. And this one might be worth looking into. The only negative I see on this thing already, this is just me nitpicking really, is I don't really know what kind of catalyst that they could come up with to make it have a strong run. That's pretty much it.
All right. Let's take a look at American Airlines, AA.
Any particular reason why?
Just all he did is put it in the comments. It's helpful if you guys put in the comments why we're looking at it. I mean, are you holding it? Are you looking to get into it?
Oh, ticker AA? Acola?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Acola Corp.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Are they asking for American Airlines? Or?
No, I said American Airlines because of AA. My mistake. Dang it. My first one for the day so early.
Well, anytime someone just writes GM for good morning, I always take it as a no because everyone would look up General Motors. And I always type it up. Okay, ticker AA, Acola Corporation. Let's see. Last update, short interest will round up to 11 million shares being shorted, 5.9% of the float, days to cover 1.7, outstanding shares 186.3 million, the float 185.8 million. Looking for a catalyst. Well, they have just a bunch of various PRs. You'll probably have to dig through it. I mean, there's like a ton of PRs. I can't even see anything really significant out the top. All right, for a technical setup. At the moment, I say this thing is getting pretty close to topping out. Actually, yeah. You can see, looking at the RSI right here on the daily chart, we hit a high right here for RSI at 84.63. You can obviously see the PPS value right here. And it's trying to make this secondary push in this range. Struggling to stay above that RSI, so lower RSI, but a higher PPS value. Ticker AA is somewhere in the vicinity of topping out, and it's about to do a pullback. Unless they just release something significant, which I doubt they do it at this point. So I'd be bearish on, me personally, I'd be bearish on this company. Based off technicals, it is going to pull back. And that is ticker AA. What else do we have?
ACST. Apple Charlie Samuel Thomas.
All right. Ticker ACST. Last update, short interest, 3.6 million shares being shorted, 4.6% of the float. Outstanding shares, 96.9 million shares. The float, 77.9 million. So float, it's okay on this one. It's higher than what I like, but let's see if there's any catalyst.
For some reason, I thought I saw something regarding a PDUFA date. I'm trying to look something up right now for them.
All right. The only thing that I see is really just filings. And that's just me skimming the top. But long term, I do like this long term, like backing out on the daily chart. And what I like to look for first is, well, first off, if y'all can see this, how it was very high back here and then just got beat down, hammered. And then it just kind of goes sideways for a long time. I love this setup. And what I look for is, if I see recent spikes, I'll kind of hold off. Because if there's a recent spike, it's probably not going to do another spike for a while. And I'll let it get beat down a little bit more or kind of run sideways. And that's when I start looking to see if I want to get into this or not. Now, if we zoom in here, and I'm going to zoom back out in a second, but we are currently above that 200 EMA line. It does look like it's going to pull down below it. If it does, I mean, it's probably going to, I'd say probably not going to do much, below that. And there's not really much more it can go down. I mean, it's already in the 59-cent range. They're going to have to meet compliance in the future, like we're just talking about in the other ticker. And they're going to do something, release some news, since it's a bio company. They're going to release something that makes it shoot up and get it over $1. Now, when? I don't know. But this one, I'm actually going to write down. And I'm just going to take it. Just any position in it, just to have something. I'm not looking for any major gains off this. And again, this thing, I'd kind of expect to hold this a month or so, just depending. I have to do a little bit more research to kind of see what kind of catalysts they have in the pipeline. But other than that, just based off of the PPS value, I mean, 1,000 shares would be $600. And if I can flip that for 100% profit, that's easy money.
Yeah, so I know I've read something on this company, and I'm just doing I'm finding talk about a possible merger news, and they're sitting on cash. So there seems to be some interest in the bio world on ACST. So you're probably not going to go wrong with your play.
So kind of scaling back out to look at the big picture here. This is the setup that I like overall. But what I like to do after I see this setup, I'll zoom in to see when that last split was. So we can see it back here in, per trading view, it says October 2015. And I like to see what the PPS value was there, like the highs. So that's going to be around $3.25, somewhere around in there for the highs. And that's kind of where I start to formulate. If they have significant news, what's the potential here? And a lot of times that actually makes for a good medium for when you're just trying to find your baseline for a price target. And if you just take your crosshairs, usually around that time frame that is split and kind of go up, you'll start seeing those like resistances and supports and whatnot that are pretty close to where it's split at anyways. So when I'm just looking for an easy target price, that's the first thing that I do right there. Find find when it last split and see what it was going for at that rate. But this thing, I don't know. I might actually hold it. I mean, for $600, 1,000 shares, even if I held it for a few months, I mean, if they release a significant catalyst and just get a pop on it, I mean, if we could take this thing up to $3, that's a pretty good ROI, if you ask me, from 60 cents to $3. I like that.
Yeah, so the thing I'm finding is there's a pending merger news coming, and they're hoping even yet this week. So,
so merger news, that's actually pretty significant.
Merger news always seems to play well, doesn't it, in these bio stocks? It tells the world that someone else is interested in buying them, so it usually takes a pretty good pop.
All right, everybody. So, like, what y'all need to do is go get payday loans. Go get a loan on your car. Go all in ACST, baby. Let's do this. We can get rich. JK.
Ticker JK. All right.
Let's see. You guys think PHIO is dead? No, sir, not at all. So this one has literally just been playing back and forth with my alerts. It'll go up, trigger it, come down, get stopped out, and have to keep readjusting it and all that. But this ticker, let me pull up some fundamentals on it. They actually do have catalysts in the pipeline. So last update, short interest, 436,000 shares, 3% of the float. Outstanding shares, 3.5 of the float, 3.5. So this is a low float bio company with catalysts in the pipeline. And you can see it has that setup of literally getting beat down. And here we are. It made its attempt back here the first time. The second time is usually when it has that significant pop. And I have a price target on this thing for $9.25 overall. And kind of going back to what I was saying about looking for that last split, you can see back here, it's right around that range. That's why I chose $9.25. So I am long-term bullish on PHIO. Again, this will be dependent on your risk tolerance. But at some point in the future, I feel like this bad boy is going to run. So, Todd, that is all I have for today. Do you have anything else?
No, we're good. It's good. There's a slow morning, and as always, be careful, be safe. And reminder that this Friday is Good Friday. We will not be having a StockCast show as the markets close that day. So,
yep. We
have got plans. I'm going to be traveling that day, and I think James is going to sleep in with Yolanda that day.
Yep. That's about it. So go ticker GTT. Let's make some money there, and hopefully that thing makes us money. We'll see.
It will.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Y'all take care, trade safe, and we will see y'all in the next one.